Hi, everyone. This is Heather with the Old Schoolhouse, and I'm here with Nadim with another Homeschool Live. I am so excited to hear about CTC Math. Nadim knows all things about CTC Math. He is a fan favorite among SchoolhouseTeachers.com members and the Old Schoolhouse Magazine subscribers, and we are so excited to hear from him today. Hi, Nadim. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, I'm excited to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we are about to start a new school year here in the States, and more in the southern states, they're starting to go back as early as this week. And then as you move up north, they'll start probably in September. So this is the time of year that people are looking for curriculum. They want to know what to do. And math is definitely one of those things that parents can be pulling their hair out and wondering, what do I do? So I'm so excited that we have this option that I know many of our members have heard about and have tried. For those who are considering taking the plunge, can you tell us more about CTC Math?
Sure, yeah. We're an online math curriculum. We cover K to 12. Parents have access to all lessons from all grade levels. I think what really sets us apart is Pat Murray's unique ability to deliver aha moments with his short, concise, easy to understand video tutorials. We have a ton of features which have been specifically designed with homeschoolers in mind. This is a program built by a homeschooler for homeschoolers. So I could talk all day about it, but it's probably best seen via the free trial.
Right. And that's incredible. You do offer a free trial for parents who are curious. Maybe they aren't starting school yet, so they have a few weeks or a few days to test out the waters. And would they have access to all grades during the free trial, or would they sign up for a certain grade?
Great question. Yeah. So it's the light version. So you have access to the first lesson of each topic. So yes, you do have
Oh,
access to all the grade levels, but it's only about 15, 20% of the entire curriculum. We also have a 12-month money back guarantee. So no questions asked. If CTC Math is not for you or your family for whatever reason or no reason at all, just send us an email or give us a call and we refund your entire payment. So it's risk-free. It really is risk-free.
so you mentioned that Pat Murray, he's the one that created CTC Math. He homeschooled his children himself. So he knows homeschoolers. How specifically can he help homeschooling families? Or how can CTC Math help homeschooling families?
Yeah, I think we just give you all the tools and you pick and choose because each family is unique and each situation is unique. For example, if your child needs a little bit of accountability, there's the ability to set tasks with automated reports that come through when those tasks fall due. There's also complete accountability on the parent dashboard to review and see when they logged in, how long they were in for, if they viewed the lesson, if they clicked on questions. We know math is about building confidence. So our adaptive questions, which actually change in difficulty, there's a clever algorithm going on in the background that gives the students the right question at the right time. And that
Yeah.
really helps instill confidence. You don't sort of give them the most difficult question to begin with, or you don't keep it easy where they lose engagement. So adaptive question is another fantastic one. Question Bank Wizard, if you really want to get techie and nerdy and really into the program, you can create your own worksheets. We have the weekly revision tasks, which help consolidate learning. Um, there's, of course, the diagnostic tests, which help fill gaps and also create a post-review process for the families. And there's so many other things, but there's some games for the kids if they've done well and you want them to have that time, as well as many other things.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I have heard some parents just so excited about the fact that, if a child is struggling, that, like you said, it's intuitive. And so they're excited that it
Mm.
helps, it won't give them the really difficult questions if they're struggling with a certain one. And a lot of parents just love that because essentially the program is presenting the materials. So it just helps them to not be nervous that their child's just going to just click a random answer. They're actually going to be able to stay focused because it's not going to be too intimidating.
Correct. Yeah.
So you have this available for K through 12. And if a parent is coming into this, they've never used Ctc Math before, how can they know where to start? Because some homeschooling families aren't necessarily their child isn't necessarily locked into a certain grade. It depends
Yes.
on, they could be doing one grade level math, one grade level of reading.
Mm.
How can they know where they would start?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we have a placement test where I would really suggest watching the video on our website. So in the top right hand corner, there's a support us button, and parents can click on that and then access our how to videos. And there's a great video on how to utilize those diagnostic tests that I spoke about as a placement test.
Mm,
But just talking about that, it's very easy to switch from one curriculum to another, or if your child was in school and moving to homeschool, or if they've been sick or had some time off. And when you start having gaps in math, that can be really
mm,
problematic. It's important
right.
to have a solid foundation. And we're really surprised that other programs out there, particularly homeschool ones, don't offer this, access to all levels from all grade levels.
Right.
Because if you really want to help the child, you really want to make sure that they have that solid base, that solid foundation to build off. And that might just mean reviewing certain aspects, not the,
Hmm.
you might have a child in fifth grade and they're struggling with certain concepts within third and fourth grade. You just want to
Right.
focus in on those. You want to first identify them, then focus in on them, then master them. And
Wow.
the placement tool system that we have is really designed around those three aspects.
So if you identify a specific uh, aspect of math that a child is struggling with, how would you recommend going about doing that? Creating worksheets, going back to that grade level, and because when I think about the grade level, it will specifically say addition is in this area, multiplication, division would be in a certain area. Would you suggest going to those areas, or how would you suggest approaching this?
Correct. Well, there's two ways about it. So once you do the diagnostic test, a report is produced and it will highlight or identify areas that need to be covered. You can then click into those lessons. I would certainly recommend watching the video tutorial as step one. Step two, attempt the interactive questions, which again are adaptive in nature, and you can take them, once, twice, three times until you've mastered them. And then you can consider if you want to give them some more work, the question bank wizard, or just moving on to the next lesson. We do have a mastery, which is a new feature, which will help parents identify whether you know the the student has mastered that lesson.
Wow.
um, it's fantastic. Basically, mastery is a measurement of the highest difficulty level that a student has achieved for that lesson.
Wow.
It grades the levels. But the thinking behind it is to motivate students to attempt a wider range of questions, which again
Ah,
helps build consolidation. It
right.
unlocks questions which are more challenging with greater depth at the right time, and increases the confidence of a child. And for parents, it's a better measure of the student's understanding of the lesson, and will also help identify gaps in student knowledge that needs further work.
So this mastery area that you're talking about, is this a specific new area on the site, or is it found within each grade level? How does
Yeah,
a student or
it's
parent
found
access
within
this?
each lesson, and
Okay.
it appears in the reports as well. Basically, wherever
Mm,
we still have the grade's still there. It's very important. But wherever you see the grade, there's also a mastery level attached to it.
I see. Okay, that's wonderful. And for those parents watching them never use CTC Math, one feature that is absolutely incredible, as you're talking about mastery, are the certificates. And I know that my children love receiving certificates at the end of each. Um, it's not every lesson, but when they master certain aspects of the grade level that they're in, and they absolutely love showcasing their certificates.
They're fantastic. My daughter just completed kindergarten,
Oh,
and she received her kindergarten certificate, her course certificate. So we have them for
wow.
topics on a topic level,
Okay.
and then we actually have a course certificate. So if you complete the entire course,
Oh,
you receive a really nice one. Actually, it's quite fancy. She loved it.
oh, that's sweet. I was wondering if you could touch on what you see as one of the greatest struggles that homeschooling families face today when teaching math.
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit, and that's the confidence. I
Mm,
and kids getting into a bit of a spiral as well, because I think what happens is they struggle with a concept, they might not talk about it, or they might be struggling because they weren't taught it well, or they were
yeah,
away and missed that particular concept, and then they're not aware of where the struggle actually lies or how it's happening, and
right.
then they go on to the next topic, which builds on prior knowledge, and they don't get it. And as soon as they don't get it, they don't know why. And they lose confidence very quickly. They don't want to do
Mhm.
it because, let's face it, anything that we struggle with, we don't enjoy. And then there's this almost uh, vicious cycle that the kids get caught in. Yeah. And it's constant. I don't understand it and I will never get it. And they lose confidence very, very quickly and motivation. So I think that's the biggest struggle, pulling the child out of that. Um, how you go about that? Well, first you need to identify those areas, and then once you've identified those areas, the kid needs to understand them. He needs to learn. He or she needs to learn those concepts,
Right.
and they need those aha moments. They need those light bulb moments. So it's really important, whether you're using CTC Math or any other program, that whoever's delivering the lesson, particularly those higher grade levels, where
Sure.
it might be a little bit more difficult for mum and dad to explain,
Yeah.
or it might come naturally and easily, but because of that relationship, there's a bit of tension. Um, but to identify a math program or a math curriculum that's really able to deliver those aha moments. And the best way to do it is get your child to sit down, listen to the video tutorial, compare the same concepts across a range of across a range of programs, and ask them, "Hey, what worked for you? What,
Yeah.
which one gave you that light bulb?"
That's really good. And these videos aren't long, correct? I mean, these are not 45 minutes to an hour long videos. They're short, sweet, concise. They get
Yeah,
to the point and they're extremely helpful for children of all ages, all attention spans.
yeah. Just on that, what takes other people 25, 20, 25 minutes to explain, Pat does it in 3 to 4 minutes. And again, that's why I sort of said compare the video tutorials. Um,
Yeah.
he's short, concise, to the point, and has an incredible way of delivering these concepts where kids just get it, and the engagement's there. You know, they're keen to listen to him. But when structuring a lesson, say you have a 50-minute math lesson or a 45-minute math lesson, that you're far better off giving them a 5 minute instructions, 5 minutes worth of instructions, 5 to 10 minutes worth of instructions, and 35 to 40 minutes of practice, rather than a 25-minute instruction and only 20 minutes of practice. So just think about that when structuring your lesson. Practice really does make perfect in math.
And what would you say to the parent who might be hesitant about using an online curriculum as opposed to pen and paper?
I get that, and I'm a traditionalist, and I really understand that. But look, the problem with a textbook is that it's very hard to read and learn off a textbook when it comes to math.
Mm,
It's very hard to read math. So if a student, unless they're having the lesson delivered to them in some capacity, uh,
right.
that is a big drawback. The kids need to be taught, um,
Hmm.
and and they need that interaction. They need that multi-sensory approach when it comes to learning math. The other thing is, and one reason why we still have our worksheets and they're great, and we always encourage pen and paper math. So whether you got your
Right.
your tablet or your computer open, we encourage pen and paper math in front of you and all you're working out. But one of the drawbacks of worksheets and textbooks is that the questions are ordered. You can't change the order of a question. You can't introduce this clever thinking where students are slowly being led up an inclined plane and you're
Wow.
delivering the right question at the right time because there's a clever algorithm working in the background,
Yeah.
thinking, what's the
That's
next
really good.
question that this child needs in this particular moment?
Wow.
You can never do that with a textbook or worksheets. So there's that
Right.
drawback to it.
That's really good. And I think that would help a student. I mean, whereas if a parent saw where the struggle was and then they would say, oh, we're going to stop at number 5 and go back and redo,
Mm,
some kids might get hesitant about that. Like, no, I need to finish the worksheet. I don't want to go do something weird that you're telling me to do. But, if that's their personality, it might be really hard for them to veer off. But by using this program, they wouldn't have to deal with that. It would just seem like, oh, this is the next question, and it would be reassuring for them.
yeah. Correct. And I think technology is one of those things that's here, of course, to stay. We need to teach our children how to best use that, how technology can work for us, and we not work for technology. So,
Yeah.
that comes down to responsible use,
Yeah.
and how we use that, and I'm sure there's some great ideas out there on some great blog sites about that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a good point. And I would love to touch a little bit on what you mentioned before about, if maybe a parent would want to outsource because they don't understand the higher
Mm,
level math. But I was just talking to a mom yesterday who is nervous about teaching algebra 2 to her son. And she said, I'm just going to have to relearn this all over again. And some
mm.
parents, that's what they want. They want to be right there with their child, helping them and doing it with them. And I mean, they could absolutely learn right along with their child using this program if they wanted. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. So every family account comes with a individual parent account where the parent can log in without anyone seeing, and and essentially watch the video tutorials. They have full access, like a student does.
Right.
Um, Before in the
That's
past,
perfect.
we were asked, can we increase the student limit by one so mum and dad can have an account?
Wow.
And we just
Yeah.
attached a student account to every parent account. So when you log in, there's the ability to switch to student view, and that's the parent's account essentially. But just back on that, teaching algebra 2 can be very difficult, and we always say let Pat do the heavy lifting for you. Let Pat, take on that for you and make life
Mhm.
just a little bit easier.
Right. That's really good. If you could give homeschooling families one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, perseverance. I think perseverance. You're doing an incredible job. You're doing something that's absolutely amazing. You've really taken the responsibility of your child's education and and really taken ownership of that. I think parents should always be the primary educator of their children, um, and for a lot of reasons. I just recently watched a pretty popular US documentary, and it scared me. But basically, all this stuff started in 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 the educational institutions, and
Wow.
and I think people have figured out very quickly that if you want to reshape society in a particular way, then that's where that's the most effective way.
Right.
Brainwash kids, and
Yeah.
that that primary that responsibility of being the primary educator comes with um, a lot a lot of heavy lifting, to use that expression again, but a lot of fruits, and anything worth having is not easy to attain, and there's going to be
Yeah.
hard moments, but I think the payoff is incredible, and really allows you. Well, your child best, and
Yeah.
that statement I think says it all. And persevere when it gets tough. Persevere. There's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of help. Tap into that. Tap into that awesome community. Um,
Yeah.
that is the homeschool world. And even when it comes to math, if you have any math questions, you might not be using CTC Math, just email us and ask us.
Wow.
Give us a call. We're here to help. And yeah, so that would be my one bit of advice. Sorry, it was a bit waffly, my answer, but yeah.
No, that was great. That was wonderful. And I'd love to touch on that community aspect as well, because if somebody, a lot of people, I don't know if you've noticed throughout the interview, have been commenting saying how they're excited to use geometry this year. They love the program. And I know there's a lot of viewers who have been using it. For those who haven't used it, I do know people last year, some started and they had a lot of questions and would come to me and say, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm just wondering, I absolutely, my kids love it and I love answering questions, but online, are there groups for CTC Math
There are.
members that they can just bounce ideas off each other and talk with each other about it?
Yeah, we have a great, yeah. So we have the CTC Math regular Facebook page, but then there's a group page where uh, members are very, very active. So it's called the CTC Math Parent Group page.
Okay.
You can ask to join if you have a membership, and there's a great sense of community in that group. You can post your questions anywhere within that group, on the page, via email, via phone. But I think within the group is you often we have other parents jump in and answer the question so quickly,
Wow,
like within
that's
minutes,
great.
and
Oh,
it's awesome to see. Um,
that's
we love it.
wonderful.
Gives us a big smile.
Oh
When you
yeah, for
love your
sure.
job, you love,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
a lot of satisfaction in it, in what we do.
Yeah, I love that. Um, so like you said earlier in the beginning of the interview, you are very open to the homeschooling community. I mean, you don't just serve the homeschooling community, you have served public schools. And I know you said you're gonna before the interview we were talking, you said you're gonna start providing your resources in places such as India, and you're based in Australia, so you're everywhere. But specifically for the homeschooling community, you have a special discount. Can you share a little bit about that?
Definitely, yes. So, Pat gets homeschoolers and he gives you guys a half price homeschool discount.
Wow.
And the other thing is the family membership covers all your children. By default, it's set to 5, but if you send us an email and say, hey, we've got 7 kiddos, 8 kiddos, can you increase our student membership? We do it
Wow.
straight away. So, on top of all that, you get a bonus 6 months if you register for the 12-month membership.
Wow.
So half price discount, bonus 6 months, family membership covers all your children. And in terms of price, I hate when people talk about things, but they don't give the price. Like, what are you hiding?
Right.
The
Yeah.
pricing is with that discount, a family membership comes down to $148.50, all your
Wow.
kiddos for 18 months. Or you can opt
Wow.
for the single student plan, which is $98.50 for
Okay.
18 months for the one child. We also have some monthly options.
Okay.
Um, so yeah.
That's
Don't forget
great.
the
I love that
12-month
you
money
have
back
the options.
guarantee.
Yes, that is incredible. I don't think I've heard that anywhere else. But and I always forget about the extra 6 months for homeschoolers. That is really incredible too. So it can be used for the year and throughout the summer, and it's absolutely great. So I was wondering if you have any last words you'd like to say about the program for our viewers before we sign off.
Uh, Good luck with the upcoming school year. Uh, Another year, new hopes, new dreams. It's awesome.
Yeah,
We're buckled
we're
up. We're ready
excited.
for the ride.
I think everybody watching is excited and they can't wait to get started. And for those watching, make sure that you head over to ctcmath.com. Take advantage of the homeschool discount. It is an incredible deal for your entire family for 18 months. And if you're brand new to homeschooling, check out tryhomeschooling.com. We have plenty of resources available for you for free. There's some paid options. Just check out all of the options over there. You can also go to schoolhouseteachers.com and use the coupon code BOGO22 right now, and you will get an entire year of curriculum for free. That is our BOGO sale. So you're buying 1 year for only $199 and you'll get another year for free. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Nadeem, for another wonderful interview. And we will see you next time on another Homeschool Live.
Thanks, guys.